guys, and welcome back to another episode of Talks with Phoenix. I am your host, Phoenix. So, pardon me for being away for all this while. I have been busy, but I am back, and let's get into something interesting. So, this topic is on feminism, and as always, feminism has been a contentious issue for many people. However, I need you all to know that I am a feminist and an intersectional feminist. And what that means is that I take into account people's lived experiences and their differences in what affects their feminism. So the feminism of an African woman is different from the feminism of a black American woman or of a white woman. So our identities affect our relationship to feminism. So I am a man, which affects my relationship with and towards feminism as well. So, what is feminism? Feminism is a movement that seeks, right, to bring about the equality of all sexes or genders. It seeks to break the gender gap, the gender divide, to achieve some form of equality between the sexes. Is it in form of payment, economically, socially, culturally, politically, where, whatever dimension there exists in society where women are disadvantaged, women should be able to be equal to men in that area. Now, this is very controversial, especially on Twitter, but the onset of feminism wasn't always this way. It was to fight for women's liberation, women's rights, because women had none before the rise and even advent of feminism. Maybe in some societies there were women who had rights in some matriarchal societies, but they were far and in between. The major societies around the world have been largely patriarchal, which excluded women. Women were relegated to the kitchen, taking care of children, and many more domestic labors. Now, men argue that women should take pride in this because this is their duty, it's what they were made for, what they were made to do. They should stay in the kitchen, that that's the best life they could live. However, this doesn't take into account what women want, what women need or want to do. It always infantilizes women and boxes women, whereas men could go out there and have jobs, have whatever they want to do, live the life that they want to live. Now, we have, in a way, gone past the point of just like fighting for women's rights to, let's say, vote and other things, but there are still issues in our society today where women are disadvantaged, that they still need rights. It might not even be in the legal aspects, because women already have rights in legal dimensions in most societies. But then socially and culturally, there's still this stigma and discrimination that women should not be working, women should be in the kitchen, or women should, you know, just relegate themselves to motherly and wifely roles throughout their lives, which many women don't want to do. And men accuse them of becoming more manly or manlier than they ought to be. Now, I will touch on a few of all these things, but I saw something really interesting on Twitter and I just want to read it out to you. And if this doesn't set alarms going off in your head, I don't know what is wrong with you or why haven't you seen this at all. So this person's, I won't mention their at, I'll just tell you what they said. So they said, before feminism came around, women were literally treated like princesses. Doors held open, no financial worries, no exhausting jobs, and seen as too delicate to do tough work. Now women are expected to be just as tough and do all of the hard work that should be reserved for men. Shaking my head. Now, this is laughable, laughable on all fronts. And why is it so? First things first, before the advent of feminism, only princesses were treated like princesses. Only people who had, only women who had any modicum of royal blood in their veins were treated close to princesses. So think of queens, princesses, like we mentioned. You could think of, baronesses and countesses and all the likes that were royal, or people who married into wealth that were treated this way. It didn't mean all women, right? So the generalization of seeing women here is quite out of this world. It's blatantly wrong and should not be accepted. So I'll take each of the claims this person made and tackle each one. So before feminism came around, women were literally treated like princesses. This is flat out wrong. Like I mentioned, this was just for reserved for people who were in wealth, women who were in wealth or royalty. But women who had none of that, the majority of women who were peasants, those women were not treated in any way close to royalty. No, 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 no. The men might play at being gentlemen to get to woo the woman, but they were not treated anything like princesses. And then said doors held open. This is laughable. How many doors were held open? So I want to ask any woman listening, would you trade your independence for doors being held open for you? What kind of trade is that? What kind of trade-off is that? What are you getting from that? Then no financial worries. And this is hiding an insidious thing that many people are trying to ignore, which was that women had no financial agency. They had to depend on all the men in their lives to take care of themselves for money, from her father to her brother to her husband to her sons. This woman had no financial agency. So therefore, she had to put all her financial worries on the man. And if the man could not meet up to that, the man feels like he has failed at his job as being a man. Women had financial worries, but they could not express it because they had no means of getting this money, that wealth. Women were not allowed to own bank accounts. They were not allowed to vote. Even up to today, there's some places in Nigeria where you can't go as a single woman to rent a house because why are you single? Why don't you have a man with you? Women had financial worries. And I want to mention this. Can you think of a man in this economy just taking care of a woman or a family alone? That is important. If you're not like rich, rich, let's say some kind of ridiculous level rich, you can't take care of your family alone. That is impossible. In this economy, it is damn impossible, near impossible. How much are you earning that you say you want to take care of a family alone as a man? Like, in what dimension are you thinking of that? That is flat out wrong. Because the income of one man, let's say you are earning 500,000 naira a month and you have children, school fees, the stuff your children need, food, rent, a whole lot of things. You think that that would do anything in your home? No. That's like, it's making me laugh actually. Then you have the one, no exhausting jobs. Oh my God. This is what I take umbrage with. Because women, I don't know what is, I have to pull up the statistics, but for most of women's lives and for most of human history, women have been doing a bulk of the jobs, a bulk of the domestic jobs. It is called unpaid labor because it is not seen by the society. It is not acknowledged by society. Taking care of children, taking care of the home. These are jobs that are not paid because they've been relegated as duties of the woman that she must do to prove that she's a woman, she's womanly, and to keep her home. These jobs are exhausting. You have to wake up early to cook for your husband, your kids, bathe your kids, dress them up, take them to school, get them back from school, and also know this, not all women are housewives. It's hard to find an African or even a Nigerian woman who is a full housewife. She's going to have a market outside the house that she's selling with akara or bread or just a little shop that she sells something or she hawks something or she's not a full housewife. The man goes to work. Yeah, he works an exhausting job. I'm not taking that away from him. But the woman also does exhausting jobs. Before feminism, think of the woman who goes to the farm with the man. She will milk the cows. She would make the cheese, cook food. There are so many things women do that are exhausting, but they are not seen as real jobs by men because men call what they do real jobs. What the women do is not seen as your real job, it's just seen as a duty. And that is wrong. There are women who are literally exhausted from the things they do just in the home alone, that they have to rest, have to take medicine, can't get up from bed because of it. Imagine having three, four kids running around your house, each of them with their own, peculiarities and preferences. They want this kind of food, they want that kind of food, they all want your attention. You have to clean the house, you have to keep the house tidy, ordered. You have to think about your husband, you have to iron his clothes, a whole lot of all these things. And what is so aggravating is when men just put all this domestic job to the woman, thinking it is nothing, it's not much of a job. They just give it all to the woman and expect her to do everything perfectly. They only help out with what we call the manly jobs in the house, which is, let's say, clearing the grass, cutting the grass or whatever, or just fixing the bulb. They only do the manly stuff, maybe fix electrical stuff around the house. They only do what it's seen as manly stuff. But then the actual domestic labor of taking care of the children, of raising the home, is left to the woman. The father just has to be an authoritative figure, a figure of fear in the home. Women do exhausting jobs. Next said, and seen as too delicate to do tough work. My dear, women do tough work. My mom did tough work. My sister did tough work. My aunts, my grandmother, they all do tough work. Even just taking care of kids alone is tough work. Oh my goodness. Taking care of a baby alone, I have done that, and I tell you, it is not an easy job. Taking care of the home is not an easy job. Do you think going to a 9 to 5 job, sitting behind the desk, doing that job is tough job? I, in a way, I think that is easier. You just, let's say, you're gonna be just like your mental strength will be gone after the whole day. But the job women actually do, if you investigate closely, are tough jobs. If a woman is not in the house for a man who cannot take care of himself or the home to depend on, this man will see how useless he is in the house. You should not underestimate women. Women do tough jobs. You can't expect to have a man who will just come into a home and just know how to do everything perfectly. But you expect women to know how to do everything perfectly because they are women. They have been trained by their parents to do all of this. They should know how to go about this, go about that. Whereas you as a man, you just have to be manly, do the manly stuff, go to job, earn money, take care of your family. The thing that is most aggravating to women is not about, in a sense, and I'm speaking as a man here, any woman can correct me, is not being seen, appreciated, or valued. And it's being diminished to a single role of, I just want food. You must be able to know how to cook food. You must want a family. You must want to, you're always, imposing your order on the women. And this is so sad. Cooking is an essential skill. It's an essential skill. I don't know how it has become a skill that has been relegated to just women because how do you want to survive without food? You need to know how to cook. Or are you going to go buy food every day out there? I mean, if you have the money, you can do that. But you as a man should know how to, even if you're not a good cook, know how to cook enough to eat. My mom won't be cooking in the kitchen or my sister, and I won't be there. My grandmother as well. In all the homes that I have been in, that is mostly run by women. Whenever they are cooking, every child, male, female, whatever, in that house will come to the kitchen. to cook with them. Either you wash the plates or you take care of some ingredients or something, you are going to know how to cook. Because there's no way you're going to live on your own and always expect that, oh my gosh, I have a girlfriend that knows how to cook. I mean, that could be a perk. There are women whose love language is, cooking, who cooking is a way of taking care of the people that they love. Of course, no problem with that. And another thing is, if you want a woman that can cook, that wants to cook, that loves cooking, go for that woman. Don't pick a woman who you think is a baddie or who is a baddie, not who you think is a baddie, and expect her to wake early to cook for you, to do all the things traditional women, this is in quotation right now, do. You can't expect to go to the market and buy yam and expect yam to do what potatoes do. You can't expect that. You can't go to the market and buy tomatoes and expect tomatoes to become cucumbers for you. You have to be realistic about these things. Then you all come online bitching and moaning about women this, women that, women this, women that. Oh my God, shut the fuck up. Women cannot cater to you all your lives. That's why some men, when they are divorced or when their wife is dead, they can't stay single. They can't just fathom it. They immediately just go get married or just go get a new girlfriend because they can't exist or survive without women. There are some astounding things that I've seen that men can make cereals. Even noodles, they can't make noodles. They can't make eba. When I hear this, I'm just like, oh my God, are you for real? Are you kidding me? So all the while you grew at home, you never picked up any essential skill other than being a man. There was this, I saw a video, and it was, I think, this singer, pastor woman. She was cooking and had a daughter in the kitchen to learn how to cook. And they were cooking together. They make pounded yam and some soups and everything. And after they were done, the male child and I think the husband, everyone came down to eat when the women were done cooking. And feminists were critiquing this, of course, and the men were upholding this. The feminists were, why was the boy not present when they were cooking? Why wasn't he in the kitchen with the sister to do this? Because trust me, in my own household, that would not be going down, and then I, as a guy, won't be present, or any male child in the house will not be present. So, feminists, obviously, where this was wrong, why wasn't the boy there to cook as well? He would have learned how to cook that same meal himself, right? And would have eaten with them at the same time. Why was it after the food was done that the men came? The, what's the name again? The men were up in arms saying that no, this is the right thing. The woman is teaching us how to cook. What is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with the woman trying to teach her daughter how to cook. But you're complaining about the men. Then you were like, no, 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 no. The men, what if they were, taking care of the house? They were doing this, they were doing that, they were doing this. They're trying to make up several excuses that maybe the husband was taking the boy to fix the light or do something. And I was cackling in my head because these are not poor people. These are people who have money. They won't have any electrical problems in their house and then say they don't fix it themselves. They will call professionals, electricians, to do that for them. If there's anything wrong in their house, any issue, they will call professionals to do it. So at most, that boy was just busy on his phone or maybe with his homework or just doing any other thing that was not in the strictest sense of the word manly. I think I've veered far enough from what we're talking about. Anyways, what this person then said was, now women are expected to be just as tough and do all the hard work that should be reserved for men. Men do hard work. I wouldn't take that from them. I have seen hard working men, men that work day in, day out. These are hard-working people. But that doesn't mean that they are not hard-working women. They are. Everyone, as long as you're human and exist in this world, you do hard work. Now, I will read some comments from people, right, that try to push back against what this person has said. And I hope that we could learn some things from these comments. So, someone said, so let me get this straight. Before feminism, women were, in quotes, treated like princesses, and men did all the hard work. But now, feminism supposedly forces women to do the same tough jobs as men do. Meanwhile, every other post today is about how men aren't worth the effort. Which one is it? Are men supposed to bear the burden, or are they now irrelevant? The contradiction here is hard to miss. Now, this is an issue in that these days men feel like they are not needed because women now have jobs, right? They have jobs, they earn their own money, they are, in a sense, independent. So the things that forced and made women, choose men, whether they were eligible or not, was based on, their financial capability, their ability to take care of them. But now that women can take care of themselves, they're looking for other things rather than just money in their relationship. And I know for people start shouting, having their hands up and yada yada yada. No, I know there are women who are obsessed with money, who, if the man doesn't have money, they don't want that man. There are women like that. Just the way a man, some men do not want a woman who can cook. Some men don't want men who aren't tall or who are not rich or something like that. I know. But I'm trying to be realistic here. Talking about the broad scope of things because poor men get married as well. Short men get married, so don't give me that bullshit on my podcast. So, if women are just looking at men for just money alone, they're looking at men for other things. Maybe empathy, love, support, someone who will help her grow, who will support her career, her vision, which, to be honest, some men do not want to do. So men want women out of work. So when women are out of work, they have no reason for to depend on men for their subsistence. Can you see how sinister that is? Because when a woman is married, some companies out there prefer women that are single or even not married. Because when a woman is married, they feel this will affect her competence or her working capability, right? And when she gets pregnant, she'll have to take leave and they are going to be forced some countries pay maternity leave, to women and stuff like that. They pay the women for that. So they were forced to pay that and expect the man to come back to work and also having to juggle her family and then her children because men do not face the same issues when it comes to having children and having a family because society has catered for men so well that if a man is married that doesn't really affect his job. When he has children, the woman mostly takes care of the child, so that doesn't really affect his job. But then for a woman that is different because when she's married she now has a family to take care of, not in the sense of financially, but in the physical sense that she has to be there in that family to take care of the family. And when she now has children, that's times two. And companies really cannot bear with this. They just feel this is an undue burden on them. That's why most women stay single or, childless for a while before, let's say, they are stable in their career, before they do all of that. Because God forbid a woman gets pregnant, leaves her job, takes care of the child. When she comes back into the labor market looking for a work or job, whatever, it's going to be much more harder for her to do because the companies will see you as someone who has other responsibilities and will keep you away from the job. So you can see how this is just unraveling itself. the subtle discriminations that there are against women. I read from a woman who posted on Twitter saying that she wanted to get a job, but she was married. She had to lie to get the job. She had to lie that she was single to get the job. Now, her husband has a job, but the money, the income he has is not enough to take care of their family. So she has to get a job. The woman applied for the job and she knew she could not get that job if she was married. So she had to lie about it. She got the job eventually, but you should see the way men were in the comments. They were like, she lied to get the job. Imagine what she would do to keep the job. The implication there was that she would lie, she lied to get the job, right? So maybe she might, let's say, sleep around with the boss or something to keep her job. Why would you leap from the initial premise to a far off conclusion? This woman had to get that job to take care of her family, but you think that she would lie with her boss or something or have sex with people to keep her job. That's because you view women as sexual beings, as sluts, people who give their bodies out just for, I don't know, gratuity or what? It's just so sinister how some men view women these days, and I am really appalled by it. It's really just so shocking how men view women. And it hurts me sometimes because how can you see your mother, see your sister if you have any, and then just what? Just see women as tools, sexual beings? I don't want to talk about the sexual aspect of all this thing because that's where it gets convoluted with sexual gratification, sexual objectification, and many more of all this. But there are days we're going to take this off, talk about that. Let me take more comments. So this person says, my mother worked long, hard hours in a factory. My grandmother worked long, hard hours in a factory. My great grandmother worked long, hard hours in a factory as well. Fuck off with your delusional shite. I love this. I love this. That this person is saying that three generations of women did long, hard work in a factory. So fuck off with your bullshit. And that is honestly what you should tell people like this. Someone else said, we had a greater percentage of women in skilled trades in 1948 than we do today. Somehow the requirement for women to work in this modern economy. What did they do anyways? Thanks, feminism. Now, this is just tone deaf. Tone deaf. Then said we had a greater percentage of women in skilled trades in 1948 than we do today. And that is flat out wrong. More women have gone to universities, more women are educated, they have degrees. There are more educated women today than there was in 1948. Even in schools, if you check the percentage of men to women, the ratio, we have more women than men in school these days. And women are taking over the workforce, basically. And as women need to be in the workforce and have jobs and have stable careers, marriages are plummeting, right? And child rates is also plummeting. So you can see the rise of women independence and liberation leads to a decline in also marriage and childbearing. And this is also taking into account housing, how expensive housing is, how expensive childcare is, and the how do I call it, shitty, muddy dating pool we have in these days, right? And another comment I want to touch on is this: you are woefully uninformed. It was not like that at all. Women could not have their own bank accounts, rent apartments, or own property. They were the essentially the property of their husband or father. So that's a grammatical error there. But anyways, we go on. So this person just succinctly puts that women were essentially the property of their husbands or father, and that is the truth. You were your father's property until you were your husband's property, and God forbid your father dies. You were your elder brother's property, or you were now the property of the whole family to be passed around to the next best man that is going to marry you. You were at the mercy of your husband. And that is what I think many men do crave today. When many men call women sluts, call women fickle, call women this and that, when they try to degrade women, I just look at this and see that no, what you actually want is to have power over women, is to control women, is to have women under your boots, to stamp on them. Of course, there are traditional men who, want to take care of their women, make them feel beautiful, make them feel soft and ladylike. They want that demure kind of lady. They want all of that. They want the sweet good old days. But when you're thinking of sweet good old days, also think about the factors of those times when women were disenfranchised, when men didn't have autonomy. Is that the kind of woman you want? If you want to take care of a woman, that has nothing to do with the good old days when women were this, when women were that. Actually, all you men, go to your mothers, go to your grandmothers if you have any, or great grandmothers, and ask them about those times. You will hear, and you will see, and you will know that for ages, my friend, women have been working. The only sad thing was that women were not adequately paid for this. They were looked down upon. They were not acknowledged. All the work they did, nothing was seen or taken into account. It was just the men, because the men were the one who had the loudest voices in the home, in the country, in the state. Then men will bring up issues like men go to war, men keep society running, men do this and men do that. No, 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 no. Men and women keep the society running. You cannot run society by yourselves. It's impossible. It's flat out impossible. We all need each other. Is that the way we say childbearing? That you need a woman if you want to have a child. You need a man if you want to have a child. Technological what? Like medically and technology wise, we don't have the technology to, let's say, asexually have children at this point. I mean, there are some breakthroughs and stuff, but it's not yet enough to, let's say, not depend on women or men for all of that. You may have to go to the sperm bank if you want sperm to have kids, or you have to go to the egg bank or whatever. But basically, what I'm just saying is that if we want society to run, if we want society to be run smoothly, we need each other. The value of unpaid labor that women do in the home is in the trillions. It is the backbone, right, of any country or any society. Now, many rich countries in the world are facing, population problem. They are having an older population and less younger population. So this makes it hard for them to keep up their productivity. And as more old people are leaving you know, the workforce and fewer young people are getting in, there's going to be, just this kind of strain in the workforce, and making it hard for companies to get younger recruits to do jobs. But then there are many factors that are causing older people not to have more kids and younger people not to have new kids as well. But that aside, the important thing I want to mention from that, because the whole thing is so complicated, but I could touch on that in some other time. But the important thing is that the bulk of the population do not come from marriages. Shocking, I know. Many of the people you see in the workforce do not come from marriages. Some come from unwanted pregnancies, teenage pregnancies, because that happens a lot, unwanted pregnancies, teenage pregnancies, and rape. If you look at a country like Nigeria, where every old person is giving birth to 10, 15, 20 children every year, whatever, and look at the amount of teenage pregnancies, and look at the amount of what else? Other crucial factors like rape, where people just get raped, and then lack of access to abortion or plan B, right? Or family planning. All of this contributes to a country having a higher, younger population that can fill in the labor force. But then for the richer countries, they have, access to abortion, to childcare, to what's it called, Plan B and family planning more effectively. So they're able to curb all of these unwanted pregnancies. And then they're seeing the effects of capitalism on them. They don't want that for their children. And they're seeing how hard it is to even survive with the little income they have. So, well, they have kids with that, right? So all of that just to say that if you as a man, your primary goal is to just, you know, be married and have children, for most women, it is not that. That's not what they are looking for. That's not what they are aiming for. Maybe if they feel comfortable enough and when the time is right, they might. But that's not their primary goal. It's to have a career. It's really to depend on themselves. And I understand, yes, you may have gotten women in your DMs who are asking for money, who are literally you for money, 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 money. Of course, I'm aware. But that doesn't in any way diminish women or what women want or need. I remember one of my friends saying that women have it easier. And he explained that in them having it easier is because if they are in any financial situation, they need money, they can call home. And their father or mother, knowing that they don't want their child to go sleeping around with boys or getting taken advantage of by boys, they do all their best to send money to their daughters in school. And I noted that, yeah, that's, one of the things, one of the perks I think some women enjoy. Some, not all women enjoy, right? And um, you know, if you're a pretty woman, you're likely to get more gifts and money from men. Yes, that's true. But apart from the family dimension, in the aspect of men, if you're a pretty girl and you just have a guy who is like onto you, wanting to give you money and all of that, he's not doing that from the goodness of his heart. He wants something in return from you. And when you give it to him, he just uses you. And he then added that, but for men, if men have any financial issues, even if they call home, they don't really get the help they need. They have to rely on themselves. But then he fails to mention that women also have to rely on themselves. Not every woman out there gets help from a man. Not every woman gets help from a man or gets help from a family. She has to work for whatever she needs, whatever she gets. She works for it. It's just so it's saddening when I talk about, these issues when we look at male versus female. It's so disheartening because you then have people who tell men to look down on women, to not trust women, to not do this about women. It's just there's so much hateful and harmful rhetoric around and about women these days that it's so saddening to see. And all of this leads men to hate women, and from hate, it leads to men attacking women physically, emotionally, like because all the lessons men are getting online these days are just ways to financially, emotionally, and psychologically abuse women. And if you look closely at this is what is keeping many of you from relationships, making all of you incels. Because the only thing you now see women for is just your sexual gratification to just have sex, and that's it. No deeper connection with the woman because you think women are incapable of it. You just think of women as snakes, so women as devils or demons or something. Now, I want to close this episode by reading, a comments, or sorry, a post by an African woman. And she said, African women opening their mouths to insinuate that we didn't work before feminism will forever be stupid to me. Amen. Amen. There has never been a point in history where women didn't work. We just weren't paid for it, and our labor was not recognized as work. Stupid fools. Yes, she is damn right. Damn right. I want men and women to understand that for the longest of times, we have all worked. Men say they take care of women, they do this and that for women, but then you are not seeing or recognizing the work that women also do because you do not see it as work. It's called unpaid labor. You, as a man, would want to work and get paid for the value of your work. But why shouldn't a woman as well? What is so wrong with women having their own jobs? Why can't you be secure in your masculinity when women exist in and for themselves? Why must it be that you must be needed and wanted by a woman because of your money? Because all the rhetoric you see today is as a man, you must have money. When you have money, you have all the women in the world. Ah, that's saddening because you're now making yourself an object for women who just want money. That's just it. That is just it. Let's be real with ourselves. Because when you have this money, the women you attract to yourselves are women who just want you for your money. And when this happens, you just feel that, oh, that's how women are. No, you have created a mindset in your own head that women just want money. And when you have money and you spend it on women and women come to you, you just think that is what women want. The vast majority of the women who come to you for your money are just using you for your money. They don't like you. They don't love you. So is it just the sex you want? Don't you want the love? There are obviously going to be shitty women out there. There are shitty women out there. So are there shitty men. But why would you deliberately go be a shitty man to attract shitty women to yourself? Hmm. That is wrong. So what lesson can we take away from here today? For me, to you, is that do not see women as opportunists. Do not look down on women. Do not subjugate women to your negative perceptions. Do not see that you can't have female friends because you can only think of them sexually. When you have sex in your head, when all you hear about women is sex, when you can't see a woman whether fully clothed or neither or not fully clothed and can't see her and just see a woman, to see a sexual object, then there's a problem with you. There's a problem with the content you consume. There is a problem with you. And having a problem doesn't mean you can't solve this. You can change, you can be a better person. And women should stop looking down on themselves. Women should stop dragging down other women. Because how can you as a woman think that feminism has done the worst thing for you? No. Feminism has done the best thing for you, has liberated you, has made you become a person, to be recognized as a person, to be seen and valued as a person. Because if not for feminism, my dear, you would be nothing more than a woman stuck at home, doing domestic unpaid labor and having a loveless marriage. Out of all the people who are living traditional family lives or whatever, very few of them are actually enjoying whatever benefits your alpha males or all these uh, pick me ladies are preaching about to you. The people who actually live the so-called traditional value family lives are people who have money. They have money and they are selling you a curated content to make you idealize their lives. But no, the women are working. The man is a millionaire or the son of a billionaire. They are working. There was this thing I saw, let me just clear up this, that this guy was, when he was poor, that he always saw women as opportunists. He just saw women wanting him for his money. But then when he had money, his mindset changed that I have money and I have a woman I love. Why won't I spend on her? Why would I not? It's the natural thing to do. And also, when women love you, they go above and beyond for you. When women love you, they will go above and beyond for you, the same way men do. When someone genuinely loves you, they go above and beyond for you. They get you gifts. They remember your birthdays, remember your important achievements in your life. They're always there for you. They support you. So, my advice would be do not go around looking for money. If you want money, if you want good sex, if you just want, instant gratification, then look for people who also want that. Don't go for women who you know won't give you what you want and expect women to give you what you want. Pick your lane and stay in your lane. If you want an apple, go get an apple. If you want a goat, go get a goat. If you want a snake, then go get a snake. I mean, to each their own. But then don't then come online and then bash all women because you got a snake when you went for a snake. And as a woman, vet the men you're around. If you're a woman who knows you want a guy who has money, who is rich, then I advise that you go for men who have money. And men who have money want one thing, a beautiful woman with a beautiful body. So if you have that, you'll have those men. Simple. Some men are just so greedy that you are a poor guy and you're like, women are this, women are that. Oh my God, bro. Do you want to have sex with all the women in the world? Or you just want to find one person that will like you and you guys will fall in love and have something good? It's all just so, how would I put it? Annoying when I hear all the shouts from men and women at most times. Like, no, 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 no. Let's come together. Let's speak. Let's stop working from a position of stereotypes. Stereotypes hurts all of us. It helps nobody. And beside that, do not seek to hurt people and do not seek to use people. Because when you see people as things that can be used, you don't value them, you don't appreciate them, you don't see the humanity in them, and that strips you away of your empathy. And that can lead you to do heinous things to them. So I'll leave you with that. And till we come back from the episode where I hope we have lighter and more fun issues to talk about. Till then, I'm always Phoenix, your dearest host, and I love you all for listening. Thank you.